Okay, if you group this first one, remember we talked about this on Friday. Step one is it needs 4 terms. This one does have that. Okay, part 2, we want to get a GCF. We group this first part, our GCF is going to be x squared. We're going to have x plus 3. Group that second part, we're going to go ahead and take -9 out because we want x plus 3. Because that was another part that we needed to do, was they need to have the same. So we need the same binomial. So now we can do the next part, which is rewrite. So step 4 was that rewrite. Okay, so we're gonna write it as x squared minus 9 and x plus 3. Remember, we talked about this too. These really equations are all equal, or in some case, just the same old thing. You know, same old grounds. Now we're ready to see if we can factor anything. In this case, it does. We have the difference of perfect squares here. X minus 3. X plus 3. And we end up with x plus 3. So that's that quick little grouping problem. We did some of those on Friday. You did some of them for homework. Hopefully you turned them in so I can give you some credit for them. Questions or concerns there? Mm-hmm. Everybody okay? All good? Okay. Look at this. This was perfect square, wasn't it? Difference of perfect squares. Well, today we're going to have the difference of perfect cubes and the sum of perfect cubes. Now they factor in a nice little easy formulas. So this is cookbook math. So the first step is to get these guys down in your paper so you can look at them and understand these formulas. The sum of cubes, so plus, the difference of cubes is with a negative. So this would be what they look like when we start with them. We're going to factor them to those general forms. It turns out to be a pretty easy little task because really all we do is find what A is, the perfect cube of the first term, and what B is, the perfect cube of the second term, and we go to work. So if you would get those formulas down for me. I've got 3 problems to show you then. You'll have a couple things still to do in 6-4. We're looking at an assessment on Friday over these sections 6-3 and 6-4. That Friday assessment will be the start of the third 9 weeks. It'll be start of the third 9 weeks because the chances of everybody taking it that day are slim for me. We're still waiting on people for chapter 4 and chapter 5 yet. Yeah. And there's quite a few in here for chapter 5. I think 4 of you. So try to take care of that before Friday. If not, it's a 0 and it will definitely hurt your grade. Now, squares we're all pretty familiar with, aren't we? Perfect squares, 4, 9, 16, 25, we've used those a lot. But perfect cubes is another story. So let's write a few out. Of course, 1 to the third, that one's easy. That's 1, isn't it? 1 times 1 times 1. Next number down would be 2 to the third. Well, 2 to the third is 8. Had a ham sandwich for lunch. Last night during the Browns game, I had me a pizza.
What was on the pizza?
Well, pepperoni. 3 from Antonio's.
Was it good?
Oh, yes. 3 to the third. 3 times 3 times 3 is?
9. No.
See, that's where you gotta start thinking. You gotta start thinking different. That's it. 9 would be perfect square, right? And you gotta think of these. Write these down. They'll help you. 4 to the third. 4 times 4 times 4 is? Not quite. How about 64? 5 to the third. These numbers get big pretty quickly. 5 to the third is 125.
Right.
6 to the third.
Hi.
6 to the third.
Okay.
6 to the third? Anyone?
I have that shirt. Never mind. I don't think I'm the right person.
Correct. 216. These are perfect cubes, different than perfect squares. Note, what would be the cube? The cube root, okay, of 1 would be 1. The cube root of 8 is 2. The cube root of 27 is 3. The cube of 64 is 4. You getting this, folks? Okay? The cube of 125 is 5. The perfect cube, or the cube root of 216 is 6. You're going to need those. You need to recognize those numbers. They're different than the squares. 1, 8, 27, 64. 125, 216. All right. Everybody got the formulas down that wants them? All right, this becomes a pretty easy task of cookbook math. As always, step 1, GCF. Anytime we're factoring, we will see the word factor, we gotta look for a GCF. Is there one here? Yes. 4x. When 4x comes out, we're gonna have x cubed plus 27 left over. Now, you gotta recognize that I have what in x cubed. What's x cubed? Is it a perfect cube? Yeah, it's just x times x times x, right? 27, is it a perfect cube? Yeah, we just saw that, that's what? What's the perfect cube of 27? 3. Now, all we need to do is figure out, this is in this form right here, a cubed b. You have to figure out what a is and figure out what b is. Well, a is the cube of the first term, x cubed. Well, what is the cube of x cubed? X cubed is x. It's basically canceled, don't they? What is the cube of 27? What times what is 27? Okay. So I've taken this 4x out, and now all I'm going to do is figure out what my a is. Boom. My b. And do what? Put them in the cookbook. There's the cookbook waiting for me. My a is x. My b is 3. So that's a plus b. I'll put that. I still have the 4x out front because that was my GCF. Now I'm going to take a and square it. So x times x is x squared. X times 3, and it's going to be minus 3x. And then 3 times 3, of course, is 9. They're all the same. Every one of them works the same. You get the GCF. Find what the perfect cube of the first term is. It becomes your a in the standard general form. The perfect cube of the second term becomes your b. You put the eggs in there, you stir it up, put it in the oven, cook it for 15 minutes, and you got your brownies. That's right, that's cookbook math. You just put the ingredients right in there. Figure out what A and B is, stick it in there, and you're done. Folks, we've done 10 times harder than this stuff this year. there's no GCF, so now what do you need to find? The perfect cube of the first term, 125D cubed.
Oh, I got it.
Find the perfect cube of the second term.
I know it, sorry.
So my A is going to be equal to the cube of 125 d to the third, which is 5d. My B is going to be the cube of Antonio's pizza, which is what?
Really good.
What is the cube of 8?
2.
2.
Ooh.
Now what does it become? Cook, book, math. Plug in and see what you get. Plug in A, plug in B. You have to square A, you have to square B to make it right.
Okay, wait.
After the second touchdown, I was jumping around the house so much. My dog was like going nuts. I'm going nuts. Mr. Grubb comes down, I'm in my man cave, he's like, what's going on?
About the win?
Yeah.
I still can't believe it.
Yeah, it was kind of exciting.
Oh,
Might be one of the weirder games ever in history. 5D minus 2, right? Okay, so here's where you gotta take A squared. What's 5D times 5D? Multiply numbers, add the exponents. 25 D squared. A times B is positive on this one, so it's plus 10D plus 4. Again, we've done stuff way harder than this. Everybody feeling okay about that? Let's try one more.
Actually, yeah.
Actually, yes. Find out what your perfect cube, I'm sorry, of 8. Of course, we've had that one. It is 2. The second one might be a little harder. What's the perfect cube of z to the 6? Remember, what do we do with exponents? We add them.
Yeah.
Anybody perfect cube of z to the 6 is z to the
6. No. Z. I mean, what?
So what times what would give me z to the 6? Well, that would be z to the second times z to the second times z to the second, right?
Yeah.
Because what do? We add the exponents. So my A is 2. My B is z to the second. The rest of it you should be able to handle pretty easily. So you gotta be careful with exponents when they're higher than 3, of course. If we had z to the 5th, it wouldn't be a perfect cube. Hello, do you hear me? If we had z to the 5th, it wouldn't be a perfect cube. We couldn't do it.
So we would just use the
It'd have to be z to the 6th. Z to the 3rd, z to the 6th. What other possibilities could there be?
Z to the 8. It's 7. No.
Z to the 3rd, z to the 6th, and z to the 9th will work.
Oh, yeah.
How about the next one that would work? Z to the 12th would work. Z to the,
15.
that would work. Okay, so you get the idea.
If it was Z to the 5th, would we just leave it then?
Z to the, yeah, you couldn't do it. It wouldn't be perfect cubes.
So I assume we won't ever have a problem with
You
that.
can assume that correctly.
This wasn't Newton.
Questions? Make sense? Easy. Last one. Last one. Last one, text, falling asleep.
Yeah,
Come on.
I'm up. Oh, wait.
GCF's gotta come out first. What is it?
2.
2x squared's coming out. X to the third minus Antonio's pizza.
What are you gonna have tonight for your Ohio State game?
I don't know, it's just making dinner, it's not that. I'm probably gonna go over and watch the game with my brother-in-law's. I'm gonna watch the Buckeyes.
Do you think the Browns are gonna win against the Chiefs?
Oh, no.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter, let's enjoy today.
Okay.
We just take what we
Let's just enjoy last night.
We'll take what we can get.
Yeah, I don't care, let's just enjoy last night. I mean, let's enjoy.
Actually, be
397. Oh, it went right over his head. Oh, Ben Boy didn't want that ball, did he? He didn't go jump on it. He's like, I'm not getting hurt. Because that's where you get hurt. That's gonna be a safety anyway, so what's the difference? 2 points or 7, but I guess it is a big difference. Yeah, he looked bad. I think I personally can run faster than him. And I torn quite a few things in my legs.
Maybe you should join the team.
Yeah, right. Well, problem is I can't lift my arm over this to throw a pass and I can still throw pretty good. All right. Gotta have that 2x squared still out front. Okay, now we're looking to plug in our A and B. What is our A? I do think it helps to write it out. So my A is x, isn't it? Perfect cube of x. My B is the perfect cube of 8, which we've done 3 of them already, and that is 2. Watch your signs. A minus B, so this is gonna be x minus 2, x squared, watch your signs, plus 2x plus 4. Make sure you square your stuff. Don't put 2 squared there, because I might take points off. I don't know how I'm feeling or if I like you.
So look at me.
Yes. If I like someone, I don't grade, it's hard. That's a long time.
Hey, that's why I get grades.
That's why you get good grades. All right.
Okay, we just got to sign off the game. I got.
There you go. Some of those are stuff in from 6-4. Some of it is synthetic substitution. We did that on Friday, remember? Okay, synthetic substitution off in this assignment. Also, some grouping problems in this assignment, okay? And then what we did today, perfect of cubes assignment. So there's 3 things in this assignment. Synthetic substitution. 4 terms, you do the grouping and factor. And then your perfect cube form. Thank you so much.
So when did you say the quiz or test was gonna be?
Friday.
Friday?
Yeah.
Thanks. Bye.